This news update is brought to you by...
Say hello to Carol. Carol talks for a living, from morning till night. So she relies on Flo's crystal clear home phone service brought to her through Flo's 100% fiber to the home network. It keeps her in the know, and because she bundles her mobile broadband and TV services, she enjoys huge savings, so she can enjoy much more for much less. So visit any Flo retail outlet, call 1-800-804-2994, or visit discoverflow.co to find out more. One-of-a-kind connection. This is how we flow.
It's Tuesday, May 24th, and time for the Barbados Today Afternoon Update. Thanks for joining us. I am Fernella Wedderburn. We begin with news from the Auditor General's report, which has found the Barbados Revenue Authority wanting. The report shows that the authority received over $1.3 million in bounced checks last year. Our Sandy Dean has the details.
Auditor General Lee Trotman is not happy that the Barbados Revenue Authority made no effort to recover the more than $1.3 million in bounced checks it received as required by the country's financial rules. He warned not only will it be more difficult for BRA to collect the outstanding debt, but its failure to do so means the agency does not have a true picture of the sums owed by taxpayers, resulting in additional losses from the penalties and interest to be incurred on the amount due. The Auditor General is also questioning BRA's report on its overall revenue for 2015. The authority reported that it collected just over $2 billion at March 31, but according to Trotman, there is no documentation to support $1.53 billion, or 67% of the reported figure. The Auditor General advises BRA to separate the financial reporting of its operations from the activities that it has been set up to administer. Trotman also urged the Revenue Collection Agency to take a closer look at its outstanding receivables, citing that its reported receivables in excess of $750 million could not be verified by his office because of a lack of details. Sandy Dean, Barbados Today.
Thanks, Sandy. And in other news, the Barbados Workers Union will this afternoon meet with its members from the public sector. The 4 o'clock meeting, scheduled for Union Solidarity House, follows the government's recent announcement that it will restore the 10% pay cut to ministers back in 2014. General Secretary Tony Moore says the meeting will discuss, among other things, proposals for a new collective agreement with the government. 3 people suffered minor injuries this morning after a minibus in which they were traveling overturned. The accident occurred around 5:15 along Walker's Road, St. George. Initially, lawmen had reported that there were no injuries and that the driver was the lone passenger at the time of the accident. However, Police Public Relations Officer Assistant Superintendent David Welch later reported that 29-year-old Jason Prasad, who was the driver of Woodlands St. John, and his 2 male passengers complained of pains about their bodies and were transported to hospital by ambulance. Investigations are continued. Nakira Goddard, who was reported missing yesterday, is safe. However, police say the 25-year-old of number 18A Lower Crescent, Gall Hill, Christchurch, is currently seeking medical attention. She left home in the wee hours of yesterday morning, leaving behind a note on the dining room table. The contents of that note left her family in despair and worried that she could harm herself. And some good news now. And it's goal number 18 for Barbados at the prestigious Chelsea Flower Show. It's the 3rd goal in a row and the latest in a successful record of a total of 18 goals, as we said, 9 silver gilt and 1 silver in its 20th consecutive years at the London show. The theme of the winning exhibit, This Place Barbados, vividly depicted the shape and topography of the island, complete with the country's 11 parishes, each one represented by different flowers and foliage, surrounded by several quintessential natural features and attractions. Congratulations there to the team. In sports, Paul Nixon is the Jamaica Towelers' new head coach for the upcoming Hero Caribbean Premier League. The Englishman, who led Towelers to capture the inaugural title in 2013, replaces South African Mikey Arthur, who earlier this month was appointed Pakistan coach. For the new CPL campaign, Towelers also confirmed their home matches, which will see 4 contests being played from July 15 to 20 in Kingston. They opened the Survivor Park leg against Guyana Amazon Warriors, facing Kitts and Nevis Patriots the following day, and the clash with Trinbago Knight Riders, formerly Trinidad Red Steel, on July 18, before closing out against the 2014 champions, Barbados Tridents.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
Regionally, there are concerns about the increase in commercial banks' fees and charges across the Eastern Caribbean and the effects on depositors. It comes from the St. Kitts-based Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, which serves as a central bank for Antigua and Barbuda, Dominica, Grenada, St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Kitts, Nevis, Montserrat, and Anguilla. The ECCB's concerns comes as account holders of RBTT Bank in Bastia continued to turn out in large numbers to withdraw their savings following the announcement by the Trinidad-based bank of increased fees for services. But in a statement, the ECCB says it does not have the powers to regulate commercial bank fees and charges. It, however, encouraged the commercial bank operating within the Eastern Caribbean to explain to their customers and the public at large their rationale for the increases in fees and charges. Now, meanwhile, we're hearing, according to this TV6 News report, that the fees have also been imposed on account holders in Trinidad and Tobago from the end of this month.
One of the biggest changes you'll see to your account is a monthly fee on all accounts. Currently, there are no fees on savings, but from May 31st, there will be a monthly charge of $15. On RBC Enhanced Savings accounts, there's a charge of $20 for balances less than $15,000. On US accounts, you have a $2 monthly charge, and if you have an EU currency account, it's Euro $20 a month. Youth accounts and accounts for customers over $60 are still mostly free, but any in-branch withdrawal is now $7. There are a few new changes for wire transfers as well. To send funds to any destination goes up to $67.50 from $65, and incoming wire transfers to your account will set you back $45 from $30. You'll now be charged $25 for using your RBC debit card at any international point of sale where it was once $20, and if you try to withdraw cash internationally and it doesn't go through, $5 charge. Loan fees goes up as well. There's a refinancing charge for loans under 1 year for $250, and late fees are 2% of installments or minimum of $80. Now, the new fees aren't isolated here in Trinidad and Tobago. Throughout the Caribbean, the new fees, especially the monthly charges on accounts, are supposedly sending customers in droves to close those accounts. Two articles in local newspapers in both St. Kitts and Nevis and St. Vincent show the long lines of angry customers, sometimes extending around the corner. We contacted an official from RBC who said briefly the fees are in keeping with international practice.
And on the international scene, a union official says a strike over new labor laws has spread to all of France's 8 oil refineries in an escalating dispute with the government. It's reported that an estimated 20% of petrol stations have either run dry or are low on supplies. More in this report from the BBC.
Motorists have been queuing up here at this petrol station in Paris this morning, searching for some petrol. But the staff here have told us they've only got about an hour's worth of petrol left, and they're completely out of diesel. Once they're out, they're going to have to close until they get more deliveries in. And they're expecting more deliveries here this evening. But until then, they're going to have to close, and the deliveries themselves are dependent on getting the petrol out of the refineries. 6 out of 8 of France's refineries at the moment are either being blockaded by protesters or they have striking workers that are forcing a slowdown, a shutdown. So the government is sending police in to clear some of those blockades to try and get the petrol moving again. But there's no doubt of all the protests that have taken place against the labour reforms here over the past few weeks, this one is really making itself felt.
And that's news and sports. But for the very latest, visit our website at www.barbadostoday.bb. Subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. You can also catch us on Izumi Media in bus terminals or screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you, as well as Channel 99 on Flow TV and Mix 96.9 FM. I'm Frenella Wedderburn. Do have a good afternoon.